What's up, guys? It's Mrjamvad, and today I'm gonna tell you about the things they didn't tell you in the DLC. If you're new to the Academy, welcome. Hit the subscribe button. All we do is we make Pokemon simple, competitive Pokemon, that is. And how we do so with the Academy Discord. If you haven't checked it out, go in the description and check out the How Pokemon Can Make You a Millionaire. That article is free, and check out the book. Quite a few of you guys have already gotten it. But today's video, we're gonna be talking about the new moves and how I think they're gonna impact the metagame. Coming from somebody who has seen, what's up with my English today? We've seen a multitude of metagames, seen them evolved. We've never seen anything quite like this. Usually we get a bunch of Pokemon at once, and so we don't generally get kind of middle of the generation move sets. And you know, we very well might get a whole new bunch with the upcoming DLC, and so these moves are different, man. We're getting like completely new moves. Before, we get like really like kind of old moves that we didn't have access to, and so you may get Stealth Rocks, Aqua Tail, but these are entirely new moves, and old Pokemon and new Pokemon get access to it, and we're gonna have to discuss it. Today you're gonna learn the truth about how the metagame is gonna evolve. And to get right into it, we're gonna be discussing Expanding Force. Fortunately, I am on cerebi.net if you're not familiar with that, and then I'm on Pokemon Showdown. I cannot speak today. And we're gonna be assessing the OU tier in comparison with the new moves. And so let's get right into it. We're gonna be talking about Expanding Force. It says the user attacks the target with psychic power. Very dope name, by the way. This move's power goes up and damages all Pokemon. This move power goes up and damages all Pokemon. So I'm assuming on Psychic Terrain they're just referring to the natural boost that it would get. Because it'd be nuts if it gets a boost. Like it just, let's say, you know, when being used on Psychic Terrain, it just gets doubled. You know, that'd be nuts. That's a 160 base move and Psychic Terrain move boost. But I'm assuming that that's the case. The reason why I'm you know, it's like weird that they describe it like that is because with Grassy Glide, they don't mention the fact that like the move's power goes up, which it obviously does. And we'll get into Grassy Glide in a sec because that's dope. But as for Expanding Force, we're just gonna assume that it is a move that boosts along with Psychic Terrain, just like any other Psychic type move, which will effectively make it, I think it's 1.3 now, right? 1.3? I believe it's 1.3. It's going to be around 100, more or less. Because 1.5 would make it 120. Yeah, it would be more or less 100, which is, it's just solid. And then factor in the stab on top of that. This will be dope in... I guess you can use this move at any time, but it gets secondary effects while in Psychic Terrain, and so, you know, unless it's in Psychic Terrain, it's not gonna. So this is gonna be dope for VGC, very, very dope for VGC. In singles, probably not so much. I'll be honest, this probably won't be that, unless this means the power goes up, not including the Psychic Terrain boost. Because otherwise it's just an inferior Psychic. Because in singles you don't need to hit damage all opposing Pokemon, and so going through the hassle of getting Psychic Terrain up and using Expanding Force, it's not gonna be that great in singles. Cool for doubles. As we see, Alakazam is back. We're gonna be discussing the new Pokemon in conjunction, but we're gonna do an entire podcast episode likely when Joey comes back, discussing the actual metagame relevance of each of the new Pokemon. If you missed the ones where we discussed the ones that were already revealed, meaning the ones that, like, so for example, Alakazam was only revealed post us being able to play the DLC, but pre us being able to play the DLC, we knew, for example, Volcarona was coming back. And so in that podcast, I'll have a thing here that you can click and you can that podcast obviously is on several audio platforms as well as on YouTube. So if you are into Pokemon podcasts, that'll definitely be the one. It's the best. It's the best. We gather some of the best competitive Pokemon minds, and we discuss mons at a high level. So definitely something you want to learn from. So many resources here. You guys are so blessed. But I'm blessed to have you guys. And it's just symbiotics. I was gonna say symbiotic, like can't speak, just excited here. And so, as I said, coolish Pokemon getting expansive wars again. Unless that's what they're saying, it's not gonna be. Darm is such a random one, though. I guess they're just trying to teach Darm so that Zenmo can get it. Yeah, it's just all right. It's just all right. And no special, as far as they can tell, really features to it. So, all right. So, not a big game changer. Not a big game changer for singles. So the next one is going to be Steel Rollers. So this is a base 130 move. The user attacks while destroying the terrain. This move fails when the ground hasn't turned into a terrain. So this move is completely useless outside of terrain. Very strong, but completely useless outside of terrain. And so this is another one that I think, because there's some of them that are really good and there's some of them that are just very niche and probably won't see much usage. Steamroller, I don't think Steel is a type that hits enough to where this is justified. And let's see the distribution. Especially if it's distributed amongst steel types primarily. So that's not the case here. Sandslash, a non-relevant Pokemon, gets it. Cloyster, not going to be abusing it. It's a physical move. Wigglytuff's base 70 attack is not going to cut it. Snorlax does get it, but I can't, again, see it giving up something like, for example, Heavy Slam. Snorlax is pretty fat, which does arguably consistent damage. And Steel just doesn't provide the relevant coverage for it to justify, just when terrain is up, doing that. Unless, again, this is a dialogue heavy live. You guys are going to go crazy in the comments. I need to hear these thoughts. You see how you guys went crazy in that, the top 6 Pokemon Return Evoke video. One of the best videos on the channel. If you haven't seen that, I'm going to try to put a card up here as well. But incredible, and you guys killed it in the comments. The engagement was crazy. Most likes on the channel thus far. I think the academy has been up for about 6 months. This makes six or 7 months. Just nuts, right? Obviously Mew, and so Steelix is the only one I'm seeing right now with Bronzong, Stab. And if you think about terrain doesn't ever go up unless it's set up by a terrain user. The current terrain users aren't Tapus, and so they're arbitrary things like Indeedee, Pinchurikin, unless there's something else that I can't think of. And even then, you're not steel type moving Pinchurikin. So that's Electric, Psychic, obviously Indeedee, Rillaboom for Grass, and Misty. Misty is some other irrelevant Pokemon. The fact that I can't even remember what it is means it's irrelevant. It's probably not so super relevant, but it's not here. It's not OU, and so thus it's relevant. I can't believe I can't remember the Misty Terrain one. Like, it must be in the depths of NU. I'm mad and sad that I haven't touched the lower tiers yet. It's been long enough. It's been like 8 months since the game's been out. I should have touched lower tiers. I used to be heavy lower tiers. People don't know that. I used to be a lower tier main. I used to be a UU Don before I moved into OU. Like a true Don, and that's how I got discovered, so to speak, alongside having the plugs of Joey, Blunder, them, and all these unknowns that they're unknowns now, but we're Dons back in the tournament days. And so you gotta be an OG subscriber to know that. So yeah, I just don't see this as a justifiable move. Pretty trash. If you do get it off when you get it off once, and then you can't use that move. So as a slot, pretty gimmicky. and steel is just not that great enough of an offensive typing to justify that. And so another scale shot. Okay, so things starting to get interesting, a little more interesting here. Why does Shell Sidearm not have a base power? Do they not know yet? Interesting. I figured they'd have that by now, but we're focused more so on the tutor moves, because Shell Sidearm is just one mon. And so scale shot, it is base 25. The attack uses the user attacks by shooting scales 2 to 5 times in a row. This move boosts the user's speed but lowers its defense. And so this is kind of like a weak armor-esque thing, but obviously does damage. And if it hits all 5 times, then we're looking at a base 125 dragon type move. Now, I'm not sure who would really abuse this in any meaningful way, meaning to a point where it's metagame defining and is a superior option to the moves that it already has. So let's find out what uses this, what gets it. I'm not expecting a diverse thing. Maybe Cloister gets it, just because it has Technician. It doesn't even have that great of a distribution, like in any relevant, meaningful way. Again, that meaning, something with skill link. It does give a speed boost, but it's on average gonna be doing 75. And it's a question of, is that worth a speed boost and a defense drop, particularly if you're attacking first. So you gotta be damn sure you're killing the mon in front of you. And then Dragon is only super effective against Dragon. While it has very little resistances, it only has one thing that it's super effective against. And so if it's not stab, running a Dragon move is almost always a bad idea. And the dragons that can abuse it just have superior alternatives. And so I can't see this move being any good either. Particularly because, again, you're giving up a defense. You're giving up defense for speed. Megazard confirmed. You guys give me your opinion on those. I just can't see, Reshiram obviously being more, while it has insane physical attack, its best moves are going to be on the special side. That's where it abused Blue Flare, Draco Meteor. Zekrom obviously has very good defense for 120. That's nuts. So I don't see, it has Dragon Dance now too. I just don't see, if you're a choice band set, perhaps I could see that being a thing. Okay. I just conjured something up. Like, for example, something like a choice banded Haxorus. I could foresee, using that move as like I wouldn't say like a last ditch, but like a, something on the bandit set. You have enough coverage. You decide, okay, instead of running dual chop, I'm gonna run that move. And so, after you go for it, you're strong as hell. You're at Haxorus. You might have rivalry. The thing might be male, or you might be mold breaker, whatever that looks like. You get the speed boost, and so you're essentially banded and scar. So I could see that speed boost aspect being a factor, but kind of another irrelevant move. And it's as if they listed these in the order of irrelevance. And so it's getting better as we go up, as we move next to a pretty cool move, dope name, Meteor Beam. It really sucks that I haven't really gotten to get into the meta game, because all these moves thus far are just non-factors. So in this 2-turn attack, the user gathers space power. That's dope, and boosts his special attack stat. Then the user attack next turn. So this is essentially like a Skull Bash, rock type Skull Bash, that boosts special attack instead. So the next turn, you're gonna get absolutely devastated by this if he gets it off. I kind of wish, when I saw it, I was like, maybe like it would be something that, like under sand, it attacks in 1 turn, sort of like Solar Beam. That would be dope. Maybe that's a mechanic that we don't know about, but I think it's for like I think because if they removed the special attack boost and given it like that kind of secondary effect, maybe it'd be better. Because you're just not getting 2 turns to attack. Like, I don't care what your special attack boost is. And so, especially not in OU. So let's see the distribution. Things with garbage special attack. Clef gets it, which makes sense because it's some kind of space move. However, I mean, Clef's counters, the rock stab isn't. And that's the thing, like, rock doesn't get a lot of strong special attacking moves. And so the fact that they finally distributed a base 121, because you know all the moves are one they miss, that's like the meme of rock moves. And secondly, you know, they're all physical for the most part, barring Power Gem, which just started getting some decent distribution. And so, you know, a lot of these Pokemon, one, aren't OU relevant. If they are OU relevant, in the case of Clefable and likely Starmie, the rock coverage, especially taking 2 turns to charge, it's just not gonna cut it. Steelix has no special attack. Jirachi, another space mine, gets it, which I just think that's a cool move to have. But Jirachi gets everything. Right? Jirachi gets everything: fire, ice, electric, psychic, grass. It might get water. It gets meteor mass. It gets like just these moves that are just doom design. Like, Jirachi gets everything, man. I think only a water move is what it doesn't get. That may be the only type. I'm curious. Boom, it gets. I thought that was water right there. It gets life dew. Yeah, no. But as far as an attacking move, I think water is the only. Oh, it gets water pulse. And I think it gets water pulse. I remember water pulse Jirachi in rain teams back in the day. In Gen 5. Pretty sure it gets water pulse. I'm not sure why I'm not looking at it. I probably just skipped over it. But I guess because it's no longer a TM, but you can transfer it in. Unless I just made up the fact that it got water pulse. It definitely gets water pulse. I'm just not looking at it properly. Or they didn't update it for this team generation. Pretty sure it gets that. Yes, it's just low special attack mons or irrelevant mons. You know, Lunala can hit a Veltal with it. That's cool, or Manibus with it. But I mean, at the same damn time, if it attacked right away, Necrozma makes sense. Necrozma. We have quite a few space mons. Obviously, Colossal being the most relevant, but it coming off a base 80 special attack, and then you're gonna get, you know, washed by Earthquake or Scald. Surprised Eternatus gets in. It makes sense. It looks very spacey. Still no backstory on Eternatus. So another irrelevant move. Damn shame. But let's get to Misty Explosion, base 100 fairy type move. This is very good, very good. And this is a very different twist of things that I think will have more impact in. Actually, I think it has impact in singles as well. Probably not. Because if it was like a explosion strength, then you know you could just choice specs Misty Explosion with your Lele. I'm assuming gets this. And obviously Lele isn't here, but like your Gardevoir or your Primarina, your Magisback, Hatterene, and just claim one like how Explosion was back in the day. And unless you're a chance, you're probably getting devastated by that. And so, oops, where are we at? Oh, we probably went. I think the moves are at the base. Yep. Okay, so Misty Explosion. The user attacks everything around it and faints upon using this move. This move powers increase in Misty Terrain. So, again, it puts this move's powers increase in Misty Terrain, which I'm assuming they're just referring to the Misty Terrain boost. Naturally, I'm not sure why. That's why I'm like, if that's the case, why put it on that, but not put it on Grassy Glide? You know, were there too many effects? Because I think the Psychic Terrain one has quite a few effects, and so I'm like, well, I mean, I think you should have just put it on Grassy Glide as well. So maybe it just gets like just from it being fueled by Misty Terrain, it's like double. You know what I'm saying? Or Expanding Force is literally fueled by the psychic energy, like around, and so expanding force is like you can't even see it. It's just expanding and pushing you against the wall and pushing your head in the dirt. All these things are happening because of psychic terrain. So I think it would make sense if this gets like outside of the psychic terrain boost, a boost in and of itself, because it's such a like, otherwise this is strictly a doubles move. But yeah, Misty Explosion, not very justifiable. Why not just Moonblast somebody? Why kill yourself? It's damn near Moonblast damage. And Misty Terrain, whatever that irrelevant mon is, Wheezing, that's what it is. Wheezing. I guess Wheezing isn't super irrelevant, but you just never see that ability. You always see, obviously, it's two more superior abilities in Levitate and the ever so, my apologies, the ever so unique mystery gas, or whatever that thing is called. I forgot what it's called. Okay, and so on to the next. Finally some interesting shit. Grassy Glide. It says Ferrothorn getting this. So Grassy Glide, gliding on the ground, the user attacks the target. This move always goes first in Grassy Terrain. I think this, especially if it's not just distributed to grass Pokemon, will be very good in VGC. 2 reasons. This thing is over base 100 in priority. Well, actually no, it doesn't get a keep thinking it gets a 1.5 boost. It still might be close to really close to base 100 though. Well, let's not think, it will be really close to base 100 with the boost. Still gonna be really close to base 100 with the boost. And so, shit, that like most moves like Leaf Blade or so, it'll be around the equivalent of that, and its priority. Obviously, it doesn't get the priority thing outside of Grassy Terrain, but with the new, like with the Dynamax interactions where you can max overgrow Grassy, like the interactions and doubles are going to be so interesting to see. And so let's check out this distribution and see how it'll impact the OU metagame. Thus far, irrelevant grass types. The reason I'm saying irrelevant is because, well, in the case of Alolan Executor, I guess it's not super relevant, but the thing is with OU, you're already using like one grass type to set up Grassy Terrain, so you're rarely gonna have 2, because it's just not very effective. And grass types tend to have very solid special attack, so attack, and so it seems like it's strictly a grass distribution, which is a shame. Very, very disappointed in that. Fucking double. Like, why would you, like, of all the things you could have given, Surfetched, that's different. Surfetch gets it. Trying to think of any relevant KOs that would allow Surfetch to, obviously as an alternative to its normal whatever's. Primarina is a pretty big one. Grassy Gliding Primarina for a likely KO after a few. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, and let's scour the new Pokemon coming, because this is why I have this up. And so in Grassy Gliding, the new Pokemon coming out, this is just the, obviously Zarude gets it too, but again, you're not going to be running 2 grass types. And so after it's been set up, unless you want to manually Grassy Terrain, but I don't know if that's, I think a lot of terrain dancing that's going to happen. Well, actually, only one terrain user is OU, or would have OU potential. I think when the Tapus come in, a lot of those moves will really start, because especially the electric one, fucking Tapu Koko is gonna go nuts on that electric one. And so, Surfetch using an attack, I can see Grassy Glide, clapping an Alakazam, but it also gets first impression, and so that's the thing. Again, over close combat. Azu, as I said, similar to Primarina, is a pretty big one. If you have Grassy Terrain up and you Grassy Glide. And I'm not sure the Grassy Glide's priority. I'm assuming it's just an average priority. You know, like just like it'd be like Aqua Jet's priority level, and then whoever's faster goes first. But if it's a high priority, then I could see some cool interactions between Surfetched and you know, Azus and whatnot, or just because I mean at that point it's not stab, but it's almost stab. Yeah, there are not too many things you really abuse with Grassy Glide here. You know, as opposed to just clobbering them with close combat. So, ooh, where did we go too far? Yeah. And so, not super relevant. You know, first impression deals with a lot of things that already would have gotten Grassy Glide. I'm gonna say that. Yep. And so, you know, it's whatever. It is truly whatever. I think this is I think it's what, base 101 after Grassy Terrain boost. Correct me if I'm incorrect. And an expanding force, assuming it's a normal boost. No, that's not relevant. Yeah, I'll just yeah. They should have given Steamroller like a ridiculous base power, like an insane base power for such a like a niche move with such a niche type. And so let's get to Rising Voltage. This one is a freaking pardon my French, dope. Rising Voltage, man. Base 70 normally, but the user attacks with electric voltage rising from the ground. You should have hit ground types. Nah, too broken. This move power doubles when targets in electric terrain. So this move is literally to, because if you guys weren't aware, you know, Tapu Koko in the past special set was heavily abused because it had access to hidden power ice. It didn't have any good physical fairy moves, and Landorus Therian was a thing. And so special Tapu Koko were generally and the things in the tier were probably hit harder by its electric special side than anything else, and Wild Charge was its only alternative. It's not doing anything. It's just better on the special side. And so, you know, with the new generation, they just said, Tapu Koko, we are sorry. And, you know, actually, I'll give you guys a visual of that. I'll give you guys a visual. Let's see. Tapu Koko. Pretty sure that's how that works. No, it looks up a whole article. Whatever. I don't want to go digging and go too much off topic. But essentially, it gets close combat now. It gets play rough. Now it has physical stat. And it can hit Ferrothorn, one of its natural born counters. And so, it having Rising Voltage gives it a reason to have, it gives it a reason to potentially use a special set, because I'm sure our choice specs Rising Voltage with the terrain boost. Come on, man. Come on. That's 140 not factoring the terrain boost. You know what I'm saying? Unless that is factoring the terrain boost. I'm pretty sure the move power just doubles. Otherwise, it's pretty trash. I think just it being on Alolan Raichu and Tapu Koko are going to be its main pulls. You know, obviously Alolan Raichu gets it. Because again, terrain, if we had more terrain setters, then I could see this being of use. But beyond those two, electric types are very similar to grass, where you're not going to be running a ton of them. And if you're running Magnezone, you're going to be always opting for the consistency of Thunderbolt and Volt Switch. Thunderbolt will do more than enough to whatever it is that you're gonna need to hit, and it's kind of disappointing that these move tutors aren't super impactful as yet. Beyond Grassy Glide, Rillaboom. I guess we didn't discuss Rillaboom getting Grassy Glide and what that means. So currently in the metagame, because essentially Rillaboom has a guaranteed priority move unless you switch, but then I mean you're just switching into a Grassy Glide, and I don't think it cares too much. And so it getting priority grass move means we're effing up Drill, with a base 101. Again, correct me if I'm incorrect. In fact, we can calc it. And so let's see, man, I'm doing a lot of stuff today. 1.3 21 plus, oh, I'm tripping, it's not 31, it's 91, so base 91. I don't know why I thought it was, I calc 21 in my head but added it as a 30, and so I'm bad at math. So base 91, my apologies there. For all the math guys who were cringing, I'd still crush you in a battle. I'm kidding. nah, but yeah, like I it's funny because I'm not a bad, like, if I sit down and I have to do the math, you know, I'll ace it, but I wouldn't say I have a high proficiency towards mathematics. Partly because when I was a kid, you know, everybody around me was like, I hate math, and so I started telling myself I hated math as well when I was like 8. Wasn't bad at it, but I just said, like, everybody hates math, so I guess I must hate math as well. And it wasn't until, and I've carried around that belief system for years, and it wasn't until, because if you guys don't know, I moved from Jamaica to America around when I was 15 or so, and it wasn't until I moved from there. In Jamaica, I would get, like, I don't mean it's the same stuff, I'd get, like, you know, maybe the equivalent of a B here, or like a C-ish in math, because I'm like, oh, you know, I hate math, not good, I'm not that great. I come up here and I destroy every math because it was the first time I ever challenged my belief system. I'm like, huh, maybe, why do I believe I'm bad at math? And then, you know, straight throughout college. And so, yeah, that's a complete tangent that, you know, has nothing to do with anything. I got that wrong. But base 91, still solid, then factoring in the stab. That would be very helpful for drill KOs. It won't KO drill from full, obviously, but, you know, choice banded Grassy Glide probably hammers drill, doing at least 80. Obviously drill under sand. It's important for, let's check the new mons. Not too much. I mean, it's nice here for Zero, but Zero isn't really doing much Rillaboom as it is. Rillaboom already outspeeds Diggersby Crawdot, so not super relevant. It can hit Mammoth before Mammoth hits it. And again, depending on the priority, we could be looking at, you know, Weavile getting crushed, because I do see Weavile potentially getting some usage back because of Zam. Obviously outspeeds, can't Pursuit Trap anymore. I think Weavile has always been slept upon. Definitely for Azu though, you know, Jet, it's not gonna be killing you, but, you know, in a situation where you're low, definitely collapse Zam, particularly bandit sets. It'll be very dope for rain. So a lot of rain abusers, that's where it's really gonna be shining. A lot of rain abusers do not like strong grass types, and so Rillaboom, I'm sure bandit Rillaboom's Grassy Glide, you know, clobbers clobbers Dreadnought. Is Dreadnought what I'm thinking of? That rock water mine. I just compete, man. I don't remember names anymore. So definitely rain. Furler mons like Zam. Any more relevant speedy? And definitely for Starmie. Sharpedo if he's feeling himself getting out of control. You know, a boosted Crook feeling himself too much. Obviously doing 0 to Volk. Yeah, that's about it. Hopefully they fix Paloswine's ability, man. Please. Like, why would it not be a water immunity? Like, what the hell were you thinking? And so Grassy Glide, decent. I definitely think it'll have a place as the metagame unfolds, because we could also see Pokemon, depending on what the heaviest hitter, and we're going to be discussing that in the podcast. So again, subscribe to the channel if you want to be up to date with the Pokemon podcast, or I guess you could go on Spotify and follow, or wherever your audio thing is. Link is in the description down below. Keldeo is you know how embarrassing. yeah, I don't know. Like I can see some Pokemon rising back up. It'll just depend. It depends on what the heavy hitters will be. Because Zam obviously has to contend with Corviknight, but I do believe against Mystical Fire now, Corviknight has to contend with Magnezone. And so just And so this one is Terrain Pulse. The user utilizes power of terrain to attack. This moves type bar changes depending on the terrain when it is used. And so I'm assuming this is, if effectively a Weather Ball. And so I'm not sure if this is gonna work like Weather Ball where it gets doubled and gets the boost. Because obviously Weather Ball under weather is 100, then it gets the stab boost of whatever weather that is, except sand and I think hail as well. I've never seen a hail Weather Ball. Hail is just not a factor in this. I need to use hail. But yeah, kind of an irrelevant move. Again, just because terrain isn't as potent one as weather. And because it says type and power changes depending, I'd assume, I don't know, we'll see. Terrain Pulse is a weird one. I don't know how to feel about that yet. And does it say it has 1 PP? So is this some kind of like doomsday move? What does it have 1 PP? Oh, so okay, I see what it's saying. But it still doesn't make sense to have 1 PP. Because what I'm assuming is that, after it uses it, the terrain disappears. But, why make it 1? Right? Misty fucking Explosion has 5 PP and it kills you. Like, what the fuck is that logic? I don't understand that. But, irrelevant move. And so, we're going to move next to Skitter Smack. Very odd name. It's physical move, physical essential U-turn. A lot of the bug type moves have been getting buffed, like lunge, guaranteed drops attack. Leech life got a massive buff. Obviously, U-turn exists. But like bug moves are actually legit. Like you can't find too many bad bug moves. I'll give bug type that. The user skitters behind the target to attack. This also lowers the target's special attack. So this is like a mystical fire for bug types. They funnily enough put it at base 70, so Scizor can't abuse this. Let's see the distribution. I don't know, especially because it's not 100% either. So obviously we're going to be ignoring the mons that can abuse it because they have low physical attack. Drapion is not going to be using a bug moves, non-stab. I'd assume Heracross and all of them get this as well. What the hell? Gallisapod gets it, but I don't think that's super relevant. Rakuen gets it, could matter. Rakuten also gets lunge, so it depends on which one of the sets you want to drop. Wow, like stuff like Pinsir, Scizor don't seem to get it unless I just missed it. No, that is so weird. What the hell is this distribution? Very odd, very odd. So they don't give Scizor that. So it's another relevant move. Almost none of those Pokemon were OU, and so thus far Grassy Glide is really the only relevant move. Rising voltage when Coco comes back, but beyond that, nothing. So burning jealousy. I guess all the moves can't be devastatingly powerful. So this user attacks with energy from jealousy. This leads the opponent Pokemon to have that stat boosted that turn with a burn. And so let's look at the distribution of this, and then we'll assess the metagame as such. Alright, move. It's going to be a question of how important is, because burn is going to be more important obviously when you're dealing with physical attackers. And so you know, we're gonna have to assess, okay, what Pokemon for one uses physical boosting moves, and i.e. Swords Dance, Smoke Up, Dragon Dance, things of that nature, Curse, and then what's gonna be wanting to burn that, because it obviously still does damage, but it guarantees the burn. You know, obviously Flareon, Ninetales, those aren't relevant mons. Alolan Whack is back. I didn't know that, and that's very cool, very cool. I believe it's a special move though, and so those are irrelevant. Yes, a special move. Alolan Whack is gonna shake the meta up. Can't wait to discuss all of that. I don't think. Again, it's a physical. You know, the burn's gonna be more important on the physical side. If it said it like doubled in power when they have the boost or something, you know, like for example, if you Burning Jealousy a Primarine upon Calm Mind, and the Calm Mind is very it's gonna be the most common boosting move you're gonna see. Yeah, other than Quiver Dance. Excuse me, and then at that point you want to go for something far better than just a Burning Jealousy. You want to go for something powerful if you're dealing with a Quiver Dancer, something likely physical versus a Quiver Dancer. So I don't foresee this being that great outside of doubles. A lot of these moves are like doubles worthy. Like Rising Voltage, obviously doubles has Dynamax ceiling, so there are going to be a lot of Dynamax interactions. Burning Jealousy also attacks everybody on the field, and so, you know, obviously if you're Cinderace and you go for Max Airstream and I click Burning Jealousy, you're burnt because you're not a fire type that turn and you opted for the move to stat boost. If you're a Drill and you go for not Max Rockfall, you know, the ground version. It's slipping my mind at the moment. Let's just say Max Steel, and I Burning Jealousy, you're now a burnt Drill, and so those interactions are very important, the Dynamax interactions. But for singles, I can't foresee being anything over the top. Zam doesn't get this, right? Alakazam. No, I was gonna say maybe like a bulk up Corviknight. Alakazam can Burning Jealousy it or something, but yeah, the distribution isn't solid and it's just not relevant enough. And so Lash Out, this is one I need to get clarification on. I think it sounded a lot better than when I actually thought about it, but then we'll see. I didn't get too much time to assess it because I just glanced at it at work. The user lashes out to vent its frustration towards a target. If its stats is lowered during that turn, the power of the move is doubled. And that during that turn thing is big because, like, let's say you switch in on Sticky Web. You switch in on Sticky Web. You don't. That's a separate turn. The turn your speed drops and the turn you attack are two different turns. And so I don't think Lash Out affects that. You know, is it worth running over other things, particularly if something is slow? This is definitely a slower mon type of move, and it's definitely something you want stab for. And so, like for example, in Tyranitar's case, is this justifiable over, let's say, Crunch? I mean, it's a 5 base power difference, but you'd have to then think, well, you know, when am I getting my stats dropped? Because you have to get it dropped a turn you go for Lash Out, and you have to get it go second. So I think it's just a better on paper style move because you got to be able to take a hit to get your stats dropped. And you correct me if I'm wrong when you know, if that's not exactly how this works. I can foresee defog being a thing. You know, that will like for example, a Lash Out Bisharp that gets defogged before, but Bisharp is generally faster than all the defoggers, and who the fuck defogs in front of a Bisharp? This is again another doubles kind of move, because you know, obviously in doubles, you can use things like you know, Max Darkness, Max Ghost, and you know, lower stats, and then, you know, a Lash Out, but not very relevant in singles, I don't think. Now this is one I'm excited for, Poltergeist. One, ghosts have been hurting. Like, this is fucking huge. Now we can start making metagame discussion. Hold up, let me check this distribution first. If Dragapult doesn't get this fucking shit, I'm hurting somebody, man. Are you serious? Are you? Let me scroll up again. Why? Why? Mrjamvad that has a better move. They're not fools though. They're not fools, because Dragapult getting this would be devastating. But I do think it deserves something better than fucking Phantom. I get it, but like, come on, man. You're not gonna put a literal physical ghost move in here and not give it to Dragapult. Like, you know, all these mons, because they're fair, the physical ghost move distributions are is dirt poor. Like, it's just trash. And they put the few mons that have like some solid ghost moves. One in Renergus didn't have anything, but it's trash attack. It's alright attack, but it's not anything relevant enough. I guess under Trickery, I don't know. I guess this could be. I could see Shadow Claw versus Poltergeist. Big difference. But it's just not a top tier mon, you know, and so it's not gonna be OU. I could see this having some cool interactions though with that move. And then Poltergeist, you have no attack. Corsola has attack, but come on, look at that special attack. Why would you be using that? Mrjamvad has Spectral Thief, doesn't need that shit. Lunala has Moongeist Beam, far better special attack, does not need Poltergeist. You know, Delmise, I could see Delmise. SD Delmise getting that's actually a pretty big deal for lower tiers. Pretty big deal for lower tiers. Yeah, okay, Delmise got something toy. You already have Spirit Shackle, which is dope. You trap things. I mean, Poltergeist is dope too. Gourgeist finally got a Ghost Stab, I guess. I mean, Gourgeist is not a relevant Pokemon. Trevenant got something relevant. Golurk, that's a big one. You finally got something relevant. And Dusknoir finally got something relevant beyond Shadow Punch. Alolan Marowak has Shadow Bone. It does not need this. Obviously, it is stronger than Shadow Bone, but Shadow Bone can drop your defense. And maybe this gets a 2-hit KO on, but I mean, it generally runs the ground stab. Well, that's previous generations, so I don't know, man. Again, that's why I was like, before I get hype, let me check this distribution, and hopefully these aren't updating. But I can't see them putting this up and then like they didn't check Dragapult. You know what I mean? Come on, like that's the first one you're gonna check. Let me see the time. Okay, wow, we're almost at an hour in. Wild. But there are only a few left. The music attacks by controlling the target's item. The move fails if the target doesn't have an item. And so I'm assuming, you know, as long as you keep your item. This is interesting because, you know, people love to knock off, right? Yeah, you ain't knocking off shit if you know you got Poltergeist on your team. In fact, people might stop running items that, like, let's say Poltergeist becomes like the new thing, right? And Dusknoir is just fucking the tier up with Poltergeist. You might just go into your something that's completely weak to Ghost but resists its other moves. Oh yeah, you can't Poltergeist me, bro. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I don't have an item. Yeah, just gonna have to deal with that shit. You're getting walled by Indeedee, because you can't Shadow Sneak. You know, but so that's an interesting interaction. But you know, beyond that, the distribution isn't great enough to justify that, and so I think this metagame will be defined more so by the Pokemon coming back, more so than these tutor moves, to be honest with you. Was hype, but we're not done yet. There are still a few that are pretty important. Definitely at the bottom in a little bit, but yeah, not that great. I'll be keeping a $150 with you. No Corrosive Gas. People were speculating that this move would have been like a toxic that poison steel types. It's just a superior toxic. The user surrounds everything around it with highly acidic acid and melts away the items they hold. So I'm assuming this is more for doubles again, because this is just knockoff without the damage. And because it says surrounds everything around it, this likely means this impacts your team member as well. And so this is probably one of those things where you run Corrosive Gas plus Protect in VGC and you just remove items. Very cool, like interactive moves that they're adding in. You know, I could see Corrosive Gas Wheezing being relevant in VGC. All these other mons are trash. But you know, VGC is a different meta, so I don't know if, you know, Skunk Tank would be used. But it seems to still be immune to steel, and so I don't, you know, like Ferrothorn as walls. I don't think this is gonna be used very much. You know, coaching, another doubles move, which essentially like bulks you up. So bulk up. Yeah. Let me see the distribution for this just for all my VGCers. I'm not gonna leave y'all out. I don't know. Like if it was priority or something, for you to give up a turn to boost your partner, I can see it being good. Maybe it's high priority, like sort of like ally switch. Like if that's the case, I can see it as being very cool. That can be a very cool move, like a wide guard-esque style thing. And so everybody's been excited about it. I'm just gonna ignore coaching, it's irrelevant singles. To flip turn, flip turn, which is a weaker U-turn that is water type. And so it's physical, which is a big deal because a lot of the things that would probably abuse this the most will be special. Actually, that's not completely true. But you know, things like Spexcalia comes to mind. The fact that you could be able to flip turn in the pegs, and you could technically still flip turn, as we're about to look at the distribution. But obviously, you don't get to abuse that. And so, flip turn, we're gonna be staring down the physical abuser. King During Rain isn't gonna be really flip turning. I mean, it can. It can if you want to get a better rain booster, especially when Torn and all those guys come back. Torn gets nasty plot, by the way. Yeah. Keldeo gets it. I can see in lower tiers flip turn Cloyster being like dope. I think Cloyster already got U-turn. I think Barraskewda getting flip turn on those pecs is cool. Distribution isn't that great. No real OU relevant mon, and definitely like I thought like Azu would get it or something. Like now we'd be talking. Yeah, that's just, there's just no, I'm sorry guys, like I'm just keeping it a buck about these. Like, you know, we want to be pumped about it, but it's just not, I'm not gonna sell you guys a dream, and so it's just not that great. Triple Axel is pretty cool. Consecutive 3 attacks and becomes more powerful with each successive hit. It says it becomes more powerful. One, I don't know if each hit is like 90%, and so it can miss mid hit. I doubt that, but you know, it's possible because Rock Blast is like 90, but it continually hits. So I doubt that's what it is. It gets stronger with each consecutive attack. And so it's at least, I'd assume it's at least base 70. Like, you know, it probably tops out at base 80. Let's see if any relevant technician mons get this. Hitmontop gets it. That's interesting. So like for Hitmontop, that move would be, you know, like quite strong. Weavile gets it, which could matter. It's what, at least it says, I get out saying it's at least 70 to 80. And so this type of move is just good for substitute users, or what's the relevant substitute users currently? Obviously Dragapult enjoys, that's a delicious substitute. Primarina, but that's not important. Togekiss, could see that. First one probably breaks the sub. The next two does quite a bit. Cinccino gets it, which is a big deal. Cinccino now has a very good ice type move, you know, obviously with Technician. But that's if you're running Technician, because it obviously gets Skill Link as well, which I don't see here, interestingly enough, as an ability. But I also don't see Primarina's other abilities like Liquid Voice, and so maybe they just have a certain amount. Serena gets it. Is that relevant? Serena isn't relevant, even though it could be checking these air auras out here with Dropkick, but nah. It's like it's not. Does Mammo even get it? Nah, I mean, Mammo already gets Icicle Spear. Yeah, Mammo Song doesn't even get it. Very odd distribution. They were very specific with the distribution on that. I'm not even sure if that's doubles relevant. And so let's get to the final two, which are far more interesting. Dual Wingbeat. This user slams the targets with his wings. The damage hits twice in a row. This could be big. Let me see the distribution for this. Very cool move. I believe they said Scyther gets it. Yeah. And so Scyther gets it, which means it's Technician boosted, which means it's base 120. It's a base 120 dual hit move. So I think it's the equivalent of. Actually, I think Double Iron Bash might be stronger. I don't remember Double Iron Bash's. I think Double Iron Bash is weak. I don't remember, but around that strength. And the reason this could be important is because, you know, obviously Scizor can also abuse this as a cool neutral hit. Now it's gonna be a question of whether this is justifiable over its Bug Bite Stab, like let's say on an SD variant, right? Because what this does is it allows it to hit something like Toxapex. I don't know how much that's doing. I mean, it's base 120. If it's like base 120 Life Orb, I'd assume it'd be doing a good chunk. And let's check out the old mons to see. Let's check the distribution fully first. And so I think Scizor is the only relevant mon, because obviously it has to be something that, I mean, Braviary gets it too. So, you know, it gets something that can sub break. Talonflame gets it, because we were talking about this in the podcast. If Talonflame can get a good flying move that doesn't Corv gets it too. I mean, I guess Corv could use that. But yeah, I was saying if Talonflame gets a flying move that's not Acrobatics nor Brave Bird, to where it can still abuse the ability, assuming they have not changed it and it's still nerfed to a high degree, then Double Wing could have it see some OU usage. I almost lean to say it's gonna be OU, but definitely could see some OU usage. As yeah, I mean, lower tier stuff, I think Scyther is gonna be a beast with that, like super strong with that. Yeah. Let's see. I'd have to run some calcs with Scizor on that. Because Scizor also gets Cycle Cut. But again, that's why I was like, does Dual Wingbeat justify? Oh yeah, we said we're gonna check the incoming mons, and so, you know, Dual Wingbeat would allow Scizor to smack killed on switch. Obviously, it would allow it probably to drop Tentacruel. You know, assuming no Cycle Cut. I think it might be that one neutral move that allows it to drop like things that, so basically, like if Scizor had to run like BP, knockoff, and, you know, dual wing, it might give it the coverage to where it neutrally hits everything it needs to and picks up relevant KOs. Because, you know, Scizor versus Scizor matchups, I guess, you know, you could knock him off, but I mean, beyond that, it can be quite, you know, And so a lot of the things that neutrally would have given Scizor a problem. Anyway, we have to factor in Bug Bite. I guess you could say knockoff can do the same with Tentacruel. Like, listen, I'm not trying to say dual Wingbeat is better than knockoff Bug Bite or superpower Bug Bite or whatever else. I'm just trying to look at all our possibilities here. I mean, if you run Bug Bite +2 life for probably Mercs, Among Us, dual Wingbeat. Yeah, I don't see it being a massive game changer on any level. I'm gonna have to see that Toxic Base calc. I always do that. I have to see that Toxic Base calc. Also, guys, shout outs to Pokemon Smile. So guys will be brushing their teeth again. Okay, so last but not least, because the rest of them are G-Max moves, and obviously that's not relevant to us. And we jungle healing, we already know that's to 1 mon, and then Wicked Blows obviously to 1 mon. So I guess I can touch on them, but they're not. Oh, we're already at an hour. How did that time go by? All right, so to wrap it up, we have Scorching Sands, which is pretty big. This is essentially a weaker ground type Scald. If it's called like burn chance, this could be a pretty big deal. Charizard now has something to consistently hit Pex. Those dumb weeks, so it's not gonna be doing any kind of damage. They can burn it. Something to hit Heatran when it comes back. Ninetales also has something to hit Heatran when it comes back, and something to hit Toxapex at the same damn time. So that's big for Ninetales. Obviously a special move, so we're gonna be focusing on these special attackers. Torkoal had Earth Power all along, but I guess you could, again, you want to hit Toxapex and has a chance to burn it, you could go for Scorching Sand. Hippo gets it as well. Which does that justify using the Earthquake? I don't think so, but it gets it. Take that what you're gonna take that for. Palossand gets it, which could be relevant in lower tiers, for sure. Yeah, its distribution is alright. Like, it's, I don't know. Like, people are like, oh my god, ground type Scald. I don't know. Like, I just don't see. As I'm like looking at the scope of the metagame, the thing with these tutor moves, you have to have the type of it. I know Scald kind of breaks that rule. But the mons that get it aren't even top tier mons. So it'll be like almost a detriment to have Scorching Sand. I'm sure they're gonna niches are gonna develop where it's gonna be like relevant, but as it stands at the moment, yeah. So again, we're gonna have a podcast focusing strictly on the mons and how they're gonna impact the metagame. So look out for that. I just know Showdown likely won't have the mons up, and that's all I wanted to get something out at the heat of the discussion. Right now, relevant moves, definitely Grassy Glide. Man, like, I'm actually struggling to find some relevant moves. That's crazy. Grassy Glide, and then in the OU relevant manner, Grassy Glide. I can see Flip Turn being dope on Keldeo, because then you're pivoting on Toxapex rather than obviously it's gonna take, because Keldeo's last move honestly isn't even generally used, and so I could see Keldeo flip turning people. I could see a Specs Primarina flip turning, because also on that you don't really, Hydro Pump plus Scald, you want both, and so I guess you do use the 4 slot a lot. But if you wanted that pivoting, and so we're going to be discussing all these new Pokemon and how they're going to greatly impact the metagame. Magearna, people, is back. Nasty Plot Alakazam is here. Among Us is here. All these mons that we didn't know are coming back are now. They're here and they're now. And they're ready and they're hungry. Tentacruel, obviously. Alolan Marowak is a big one. You want? Show me your stall resist when Alolan. Yo, they said wall breakers are coming back, baby. Alolan Marowak, Scizor, Heracross is back, and Porygon too. Yeah. We about to have some fun, ladies and gentlemen, and so definitely stay tuned for that. Mega Lopunny confirmed. Hit the like button. Go in the description. You definitely want to check out these 2 products. They're gonna be your best thing. This is free, obviously. The book is not. The book goes into detail about all things competitive Pokemon, so definitely hop on that. The time is now, and obviously you're on the best channel for competitive Pokemon and all things learning. And so around here there should be a video. You're just so many resources. The description has everything, so you don't have to get overwhelmed. A lot of free stuff, guys. Take advantage of it, and subscribe for the podcast, subscribe for the lives that are coming. We're already almost at the top of the ladder, and so we're just gonna go hard, baby. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.